Are you seeing kind of the same thing where it's going to roll over? Maybe we go test that 10 to 12,000 or whatever it may be.
Yeah, so as of now, that is what I'm seeing, and I've been pretty, even in spite of so many people bullish, I've had to just stick to what the charts are telling me. And again, it's been a great rally. It looks monstrous, but what I mentioned in the beginning when we started talking was if you zoom out on the chart, we have to take it into account, right? So here's your big M top, and this was the recent rally. Now, interestingly enough, if we look at this low here in June to the high in August, that's almost the same distance as from here to here. So again, you have to kind of keep it in perspective versus, I know everyone wants to get excited that Bitcoin's headed to 100,000 or higher, but right now it again just appears to be that bear market rally. In addition, there was a classic top signal here on Bitcoin. This is called the topping tail. And this was put in right here. As soon as that happened, that's a note to investors that you're likely going to see a fall. And that's exactly what we've seen. We've seen Bitcoin starting to come back in.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have seasoned trader Gareth Soloway discussing his observations on the current state of Bitcoin and the crypto market in 2023. According to his chart analysis, Bitcoin is in a bear market rally and it may test levels of 10 to 12,000 before bottoming out. He notes that a classic top signal, known as the topping tail, has appeared and warns investors of a potential fall. Soloway believes that the next support levels for Bitcoin are around 21,300, but it may actually drop down below 12,000. He acknowledges the potential impact of a stock market sell-off and believes that regulation and the uncertainty surrounding securities and commodities will potentially result in a dump out of the crypto market. Let's get right into the interview with Gareth Soloway as he gives his latest market update for Bitcoin, the crypto market, and where we're headed in the next few weeks. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
But right now, this would be your next support right around 21,300. This is that pre-FFTX collapse where we came up to it and we pulled back, then we broke through. And then if that gets taken out to the downside, you have this beautiful trend line, the midpoint of here with these lows over here. So these would be your next two downside supports. Ultimately, I'm still in the camp that we see 12 to 13, maybe even 9,000 before we really bottom out. If I'm looking at a stock market that's headed to 3,000, that's a 33% decline in the stock market from where we currently are. It's hard to imagine somehow, a risk asset like Bitcoin currently is not seeing a drop back down to 12 or 13,000, maybe even sub 10. So, I mean, you have the side where you have risk assets, like let's say the economy spins into a recession, the Fed, maybe inflation is still too high for them to actually cut rates versus going to neutral. That's also going to be a tricky thing for the stock market. That then a stock market sell-off is negative for crypto assets in general. And then you obviously have this regulation stuff, which again, this is stuff that it's going to make investors in crypto uncomfortable, right? I mean, we don't know the end game. We don't know the rules yet of what's a security, what's a commodity. And so all of these type of things absolutely will throw that extra bit of uncertainty into a crypto market. And very easily you could see a dump out.
Is there a point in this year that you're going to flip bullish? Maybe is it when Bitcoin tests that 10 to 12K range or whatever it may be?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do, and this is just being super honest with the public, is that, even though I think it's going to 12 to 13, maybe 9, it's not like I'm waiting with my cash to buy at 9, right? I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart, meaning that I don't know the exact low. And so what that means is that when it was in the 17 range, I picked up a 1/6 position, meaning that it was 1/6 of the bag that I want to accumulate on Bitcoin. And basically what I said to myself is every 2 to 3,000 down, I'm going to just add another 1/6 until I have a full 6/6 position, right? And so I think that's kind of where I am right now, is that ultimately I do expect potentially to go as low as 9, but I don't want to be left with nothing in the Bitcoin bag if it doesn't get there. And so that's really where dollar cost averaging, I mean, once you get down in the sub 20,000 level, you're now really close to the lows. I mean, even if it goes to 9 from 15 and change, which was the low, that's in the scheme of being at 69,000 all the way down to here. It's not that big of a move anymore. You kind of have to start to say, what's my long-term thesis on Bitcoin? Is it bullish? And if so, then you just basically have a game plan as it comes down and you execute that game plan. And one of the things that I've learned is that bear market rallies there's a term for it, and it's called rip your face off rally. It's like so intense. And that's the way bear markets are. You have these reflex rallies that are really intense and unbelievable. And they really pull at your emotions to make you want to go bullish. And you just see things keep going up and up and up. But again, you just have to step back and look at the bigger picture. And if you go to the weekly charts, the monthly charts, this does have the earmarks of basically run-of-your-mill past bear market rallies.
Soloway discusses his approach to accumulating Bitcoin by using dollar cost averaging and accumulating small amounts of Bitcoin every $2,000 to $3,000 down instead of waiting to buy at a lower price point of $9,000. Soloway also stresses the importance of avoiding emotional reactions during bear market rallies, stepping back and looking at the bigger picture.
Are you optimistic for 2024?
I am. In fact, I do think that there's a good chance we bottom out in 2023. I don't know how much upside we'll get in 2024. Depends on what the regulations are, obviously, and stuff like that. But I do think there's going to be a pivot in Bitcoin specifically where investors will start viewing it as a safe haven versus a risk asset. And I think that finally comes in. My guess is when stocks become very unattractive because we get in a long-term bear market, if you will, an economic recession that the Fed can't print us out of initially, then I think people start saying, okay, well, stocks keep making a little less money, so earnings are going down, therefore valuations have to keep coming down. Where do we go? And if you can get regulation and it makes sense, and if Bitcoin is spared a lot of that regulation, then I do think once there's clarity in crypto, then you start to see money flowing into Bitcoin as a safe haven, and that should happen in 2024. So here we have the chart of the S&P 500, right? And again, what I think investors are really queuing off of, there's a couple things that are bullish in the near term here. So number one would be basically the fact that if you look at this low, we've made a higher low and also a high and a higher high. So in terms of short-term bullishness, there's no doubt about that. In addition, there was a trend line that was broken here where we also went above it, which people are saying, okay, this is a big breakout. This is the start of a new bull market. The problem is I've seen many markets during bear cycles do this exact thing. And we've seen a market that comes back to the lows and even makes new lows. And so again, that's the problem I'm facing here, is that to me, until I see some of the other factors align, to me, this is not a bullish breakout of a bull market or a new bull market. The other thing I would just like to point out, like for instance, if we go to a chart of Alibaba here, right? So Alibaba, by the way, the Chinese stocks have had a tremendous rally. But just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, take a look at this trend line. So this trend line is from the all-time highs on Alibaba. You hit it here, and down here, and then you broke out. Well, this is kind of where we are on the stock market right now, this breakout. But then look at what happens. We actually came down and made new lows on Alibaba. And so this is, and again, I'm just bringing up this stock, but you could look at a lot of stocks, and a lot of them do have this similar breakout, and then they fail and come back and make new lows before we get another big bounce. And so if we go to the S&P 500, to me, what does that tell me? Well, if we're going to head back down and we're going to make a new low, where is your likely target going to be? And that would be this trend line right here, which was your pre-COVID high. So to me, and this probably plays out over the next 2 months, I would say. And I think, again, we're maybe even starting to see that weakness creep back in. We've seen all of these kind of former meme stocks run very similar to the top in 2021. I think this is an interim top inside of this bear market, and probably within 2 to 3 months, we're down to this trend line at around 3,400 on the S&P.
Soloway analyzes the stock market outlook for 2024 and believes that there's a good chance for a pivot in the value of Bitcoin. If the stock market enters a bear market due to an economic recession and a decrease in earnings and valuations, Bitcoin will be viewed as a safe haven rather than a risk asset. He mentions that clarity in crypto regulations will lead to institutional money flowing into Bitcoin as well. Soloway also says he's cautious about the short-term bullishness of the S&P 500 and predicts that there's a likelihood of a new low in the next 2 to 3 months. He emphasizes the importance of having a clear strategy and avoiding emotional investments in the uncertain crypto market. What do you think about Gareth Soloway's prediction for Bitcoin, the next bull run for crypto, and where the market is headed in 2023? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.